And hello there, folks, on Facebook as well. We're going live with dual screen here on Facebook and Instagram. Today, we're doing a review of Facebook changes from 2017. Great to have your company. Looking forward to tackling some of the changes in a big year from Facebook advertising perspective. If this is your first time on Instagram or Facebook Live with us, my name is Dan. I'm from Organic Digital, and that's Organic. We help small to medium businesses both train, manage, and educate their Facebook advertising for their businesses. And been doing it for a couple of years now. And in the last 12 months, it's been a really big year, really pivotal and important year for Facebook and their advertising suite and the impact that it's had on Facebook advertisers. And we've done a blog post to wrap up the big changes and sort of how they're going to flow into 2017, as well as that's going to lead into our next week's article, which is going to be our predictions for 2018 and some bold predictions that we're going to make around Facebook advertising, how they're going to impact advertisers and how you can get ahead of the game for 2018. But before we jump into the actual blog post itself, I'm going to jump into the Facebook Live and just put the link to the blog post in the comments. So while I'm doing that, if you are watching, I'm assuming you're probably on some sort of, or hoping you're on some sort of well-deserved break in between this period between Christmas and New Year's. I am always looking to get a head start on next year, so ducked in to wrap up the year so far. Jump onto Instagram and Facebook and do this Facebook Live, and then get into enjoying the rest of 2017 and looking forward to a big 2018 as well. But meanwhile, while we chuck that link into the comments, I'm going to jump into the blog post over here on Facebook so you can see it just here. Lovely. All right, so head to the blog post on the link in our comments. And you'll be able to check out that this blog post as well. We'll also be embedding this video across a number of different channels. So this Facebook Live and Instagram Live, we're tackling the changes to Facebook and the updates that have happened in 2017 and how they're going to impact you going forward into 2018 as well. But it's been another huge year for Facebook advertisers and for Facebook themselves. The growth in the advertising suite has been phenomenal. They've gone from 5 million to 6 million advertisers in the space of a year. But considering there's 90 million business pages, there's still only a small number of advertisers that are actually utilizing that service. So there's still the opportunity for a huge amount of growth. And in this article, we've covered some of that growth for the past year, and I've broken them down into 6 different main areas. The first one talks about the transparency changes and the updates that have happened for the past 12 months. That's been a really big issue. We also cover Facebook Messenger bots and Messenger advertising, advertising price increases as well. We also tackle some updates that have happened to the Ads Manager console and just some naming conventions. The new tracking and data options and data management options that are available, they've just taken tracking to a whole new level, as well as some changes that didn't get as much coverage, but changes to objective and optimization that you can see are going to impact and they're going to further enhance heading into 2018. So I'm going to go through each of these topics in a little bit more detail. First of all, the transparency issue, which has really been the buzzword of 2017 and is going to be another big issue into 2018. Basically, it came about after it was discovered that there was some Russian agencies spending money on Facebook advertising, basically advertising debatable issues to certain minorities and certain groups in an effort to divide and influence people in the lead up to and during the US 2016 election. So it's got a lot of widespread coverage. I'm not going to go into it too much detail. We've spoken about it before. But transparency, that's really just forced Facebook's hand to be more transparent on how they're using people's data, how they're giving access to people's data, and how they're utilising that from an advertising perspective. It started with Facebook introducing a new transparency setting that basically allowed people to see from a political advertising perspective the ads that political campaigns were running, how much they were spending, how many impressions. I actually had some fairly detailed insights from a political based perspective. I think that started in the US and North America, but I'm sure it will roll out over the coming years, particularly as the next election starts to roll around in the USA as well. But after that political side of things, they actually rolled out introduced a lighter version of it, where basically anyone can now see every advertisement that a page or a business is running, regardless of whether they're in the target audience or not. It's just been introduced in Canada. It's going to be soon rolled out across the rest of North America and the rest of the world in the coming months, but it all goes back to this transparency side of things. So Facebook it really being upfront and honest with how they're using people's data, and because it's such a big social issue, it's going to continue being an issue for advertisers, and one they need to be wary of and keep on top of. The next big update that Facebook have made across advertising in 2017 has been around Facebook Messenger. So basically Facebook Messenger, it's grown phenomenally. The amount of people that use it is now over 1.2 billion people. It's now one of the top 3 messaging apps used across the world. Facebook introduced a couple of new things. Firstly was advertising within Messenger. So on the home screen, you can now see that on your Facebook Messenger app. But they also introduced the ability for Facebook Messenger destination ads. So people would click a link like they would usually go through a website. Instead of going through to the website, though, they go through to Facebook Messenger. This then led basically a flow-on effect to the creation of Facebook Messenger bots. And this is going to be another huge area that's going to be enhanced into 2018, and the rise of messenger bots. And we're going to cover this in next week's predictions article for 2018 and talk about this in a bit more detail. But basically the messenger bots allowed people to get to at least start initial conversations with people before a human could jump in. It was great from a resource perspective, but also fantastic from an individualized perspective as well, and allowed people to get that individual attention that they're looking for from their marketing and that they're expecting heading into 2018 as well. Number 3, one of the next updates is around the price increase. I guess it hasn't really been covered widespread, and not everyone talks about it other than the people that deal with advertising day in, day out. But this is something that we're seeing consistently, is advertising, the cost per ad is increasing each quarter. Sometimes these can be influenced by certain market forces, such as Black Fridays and Cyber Mondays and seasonal in the lead up to Christmas, etc. But realistically, we're never going to see the prices that we saw at the start of 2017. Probably never going to see the prices that we see for ads in December of 2017. It will just continuously rise. In fact, in the Q3 reporting for Facebook, they actually mentioned that the average price per ad increased 35% in that quarter. So it's getting more expensive. There's no buts about it. Really, this is a combination of factors from market forces, but also a supply and demand issue from the amount of advertisers that are coming onto the platform, but also the amount of money that they're spending as well. And Facebook simply just don't have the inventory to serve advertisements to their user base. So basically, there's too much money coming in, not enough users to show the advertisements to. So it's going to become more difficult to get in front of those people that you want to target, and really enforces the reasons why you need to have a sophisticated or at least a planned and smarter strategy around your Facebook advertising in 2018, because it's no longer something that you can just put something up and hope and pray. You really need to have a plan and a strategy to back you to be able to get results. The next one that some people have noticed, and it's sort of ebb and flow throughout the year, but it's the Ads Manager updates. So basically, it's probably more the Business Manager updates, where there's been some changes to both the structure of Ads Manager, just some changes to the console itself and where people going to manage their ads from a day-to-day basis. One of the big ones was a combination, combining of Power Editor and Ads Manager. So Facebook combined both of these late this year. And some people that's still actually rolling out to them, but they became so similar in the way that people manage their ads and set up their ads that they just ended up combining both of them. So they're now very similar. There were some other big introductions and new things that were introduced, such as Facebook Analytics. All of the links in this article as well are in that article that we actually talk about each of these as well. So if you go through and click on each of these hyperlinks, you'll be able to see and find out more information about the top of things that we're talking about in this Facebook Live and this Instagram Live as well. Facebook Analytics was a really big one, and the data that they've got on users, not just we're going to chat about data in a sec, so I'll go into more detail about that, but Facebook Analytics will become a big thing in 2018 as well. If you are a Facebook ads agency, or you have more than one person working on your Facebook ads, then you would have loved the updates to their Creative Hub, which allowed you to mock up ads and see what ads would look like, allow people to collaborate and get different points of view before you actually set anything live, which is a really good thing as well. One other one that it's really only for e-commerce businesses, which we obviously work a lot with, but the product catalogs got a bit of a revamp, a better design. They also changed the names to catalogs. Probably not a big thing to the majority of people out there, but to us, it made the process a hell of a lot easier to be able to deliver some really high rewarding ads. I really recommend that you check out Facebook catalogs if you haven't already and you own an e-commerce store, because they are the best performing ads by a long shot. The next update to Facebook advertising is around tracking and data. And look, Facebook just went ahead leaps and bounds in its tracking and data management. They're now just a world leader in the way that the access to the data that they've got, how they use that data, and their ability and the sophistication of their algorithm that has the ability to show ads to the most relevant people. It's really no longer just a cookie based, which is basically something that drops on your web browser when you go and you look at certain web browsers. They're tracking users across all different channels, not just online and web channels, but they also introduce new abilities to target people across all online channels, but also offline channels as well. We've got an article here which actually goes into how physical-based businesses can actually now track people and get a return on their investment, and see better determine whether they're actually getting a return from their Facebook advertising spend. Then the next one, or the last one, is really just around optimization. There were some updates that it was a combination of them better clarifying how they use data, better clarifying what data they need, and just some, terminology updates that allowed people to better understand what that setting basically did to their campaigns. Some of the main ones were, changing the ability to optimize for clicks before it went into conversions. If you were setting up a conversions campaign, and if you didn't have enough data, then Facebook will try to drive some traffic for you. And they do that automatically for you, and you used to never be able to do that. So them introducing these kind of user-friendly updates have been a really big step forward for them to allow people to get better results and to also deliver the data that Facebook needs. So the optimizations also, some updates have also been around the amount of data required each week that Facebook needs. So they need more data than ever to be able to optimize those campaigns, and just some terminology around things like the bidding options and manual and automatic bidding. They've been some big updates, particularly in the Facebook advertising agency world and tactics that people use, but also it's helped people better understand how they can actually utilize their ad spend as well. So just changes to terminology. Facebook have really worked hard to try and change their infrastructure and make it more user-friendly, basically. So that's the 6 updates. Again, just recapping from 1 through to 6 of the changes, of the big changes that have happened for Facebook advertising in 2017. You've got the transparency changes and the updates at Facebook, Facebook Messenger bots and Messenger advertising, the Facebook advertising price increases. Number 4 was the updates to the Facebook Ads Manager console, also the new tracking options and the data management, and lastly was the changes to the objectives and optimization. So I thought it was important to get really set the scene on where we've come from in 2017. And everyone always says that the changes just happen so fast and try and keep a track of them. Well, it's really important to look back as to how far we've come in 12 months of Facebook advertising, which doesn't seem that long, but 12 months ago, man, it was a whole different ball game just about in Facebook advertising land, and expect that to happen again in 2018, which is why we want to set the scene here to then lead into next week's article, where we're going to make some predictions on where you should focus your time and money in 2018. And it'll be an article that will be fairly in-depth. It's not going to be one of those articles that we just put out some predictions with no sort of recourse, not backed by any data or insights. We've put in the work to be able to make sure that we're giving you the right information so you don't waste time on these things that we're going to predict. And we will hold ourselves accountable for this, so we're going to revisit it regularly just to see where we're at and how it will impact your strategy going forward as well. So that's been the changes to Facebook advertising for 2017. It's the final week here in 2017, so I really appreciate you joining me again, and for all your support in 2017 as well. We're looking forward to a huge 2018. It's going to be a big one, but we've come a long way in 12 months, and next week we're going to outline where we're going in 2018, where we're going to be paying our attention, some suggestions on where you should spend your attention, and hopefully we can go from there, work together and hit some big goals in 2018. But I really appreciate you joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your day and New Year as well. We'll see you next year. I hate when people say that, but anyway, I'm going to say it. All right.